punch the clock. Get your friends to do it for you.
That's what we do.
That's what you do. You're not alone. I've been very fortunate, you know. I wanted to be a musician from the time I heard the Grateful Dead. And I was in the beginning of high school, and I ended up going to college and quitting after a year and a half because I was hungry. It was the second year, and I was in line to register for my classes, and I was really hungry, and the line was long, and I said, I think I'm going to quit college and eat lunch. And that's what I did. And my father wasn't really crazy about the idea because he had a brother who was a musician and an excellent musician, but had no confidence. So he would get these auditions with big bands, really good big bands, and he wouldn't show up. And he became a messenger boy in New York until he was 70-something years old. And my father only saw his brother when I said I was quitting college. But fortunately, I went to Boston and I did punch a clock for a year, and that was 20 years old. And I haven't since. I was lucky enough to make my living all these years playing music in the studio. And then at the ripe old age of 47, decided to make my first record. And my friend said, why don't you make a record? I said, and then what? Go out on the road? That's what I've been doing for about 18 years now, and never been happier, especially coming to places like this. So thank you very much. This is a song I wrote off the coast of Seattle, Washington, a place called Useless Bay. It was a beautiful beach and harbor where the ships used to try to unload their freight, but the water never got in for some reason far enough for the ships to be able to make it. So they ended up calling it Useless Bay, and wrote a song about it. The summer's barely shown its bite, still the Whidbey Flats are cracking clay. We'll be halfway through the night before the tide rolls back to Useless Bay. Like a well-tuned acrobatic stunt, the Osprey flaunt their diving dance. When the clouds conspire on the western front, the twilight moon doesn't stand a chance. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. Before you land it, before you spend it, before you breathe it, before you need it, you gotta want it. Tubes glow from an old RCA, no doubt rescued from a dusty attic. It whistles and it hums more than it plays, but for me there's comfort in the static. It's chewing up Blue Moon, the Marcells, the beach waits on a delinquent sea, the hollow Roman candle shells, last night's drunken dawn to liberty. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. Before you take it, before you break it, before you drink it, before you think it, you gotta want it. the turns I could have taken, how I landed here tonight, it's just something that I will never know. So instead I turned my head up, cause I read that the nearest light left its star 8 years ago. Here on Useless Bay, named because no ship could ever reach the shore. We broke the embers, we sparked the moor, we toast the good life from our 2x4s. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. Before you chase it, before you face it, before you taste it, before you waste it, before you need it, before you treat it, before you bleed it, before you need it, before you show it, before you grow it, before you blow it, before you know it, you gotta want it. Yeah, you gotta want it. Summer's barely shown its bite. We'll be halfway through the night. Before the tide rolls back to Useless Bay. Is that it? Tell your story, man. Tell your story. Yeah. Svenborg, yes.